Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. As someone who can become pretty easily overwhelmed, coffee shops, believe it or not, have been something that have kept me sane. And it's all because of this little mysterious thing called the third space principle. Let's get into it. Now, am I in a coffee shop right now? No, I'm not. But am I making coffee right now? Yes, I am. Okay, so now that the most important task of the day is done, I want to get into this third space principle by setting the stage with a personal example. So my sophomore year of college, well, I think it was my sophomore year of college, I had a lot going on. I was assistant directing the full-scale opera the university was doing called Lucia de l'Amour, which was amazing, by the way, or I think it was amazing. I was working 25 to 30 hours, teaching music lessons, and taking about 20 credits. Which I admit is probably not the best life choice in terms of wanting to be able to sleep and having time to hang out with friends, but I wouldn't trade those experiences for the world. But I remember one specific night I was freaking out. I could not focus, I was just completely overwhelmed. So I texted my mom, because she's into all this productivity stuff too, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Can you help me out? And she said, go to a coffee shop and just kind of relax for a little bit and then hit it again. So I did. I went to the second best coffee shop in the world, which is Port City Java in Greenville, South Carolina. And they have this awesome courtyard in the back, which is surrounded by apartments. And I sat there and watched nature time-lapse videos for an hour. And then the hour after all those videos, I knocked out a ludicrous amount of homework. Another example is I went to a Barnes & Noble and knocked out an entire 8 to 10 page paper about the use of irony in Stephen Crane's writing. And it's these third spaces that kind of help us to get into these things. And so now, let's get into all the science behind it. Alright, so they did some studies primarily in workplaces about the third space. And what these studies entailed is businesses would create their own third space in the office. And initially, the third space actually didn't work because what ended up happening is the third spaces they created were too similar to the office. They were too similar to people's cubicles because the main ingredient it was missing was the novelty. And that's what they figured out the third space provides, is because the novelty of a coffee shop or your favorite bookstore actually literally increases brain activity. And that's one of the big reasons why it can be helpful to people to go to the new space. And also the new space frees people from the normal distractions of the workplace or dorm life or the university, which allows you to have a singular focus on that one subject that you want to get into, which is what we're going to talk about in the next thing that they discovered. Alright, so the second principle that these researchers found is that the third space breaks unproductive routines. And I can give you an example of this from my sophomore year roommate. So he would walk in from the day all finished with classes with every intention to do all the homework he needed to do. But then he would fold laundry, he would remake his bed, he would clean his desk, he would make sure all the shirts in his drawers were perfectly folded. He would vacuum, clean the sink, do just everything other than homework. And then by the end of the night, he wouldn't get anything done, and then he would freak out. And I remember one night he came to me and he said, Jared, I don't know what to do. I have all this stuff. How am I gonna get it all done? And I gave him my mom's advice. I said, go to a coffee shop tomorrow and just knock it out. And he did. He knocked everything out. He went to the coffee shop with the intention of getting everything done, and he did it. And that kind of leads into the third and final principle that they found, which is that setting an intention when you go to a coffee shop is one of the best things, because going to the coffee shop adds this physical dimension to getting the task done. Having to drive to a coffee shop, bike to a coffee shop, hopefully longboard to a coffee shop, that's like my favorite thing to do ever, gives you that extra push to get it done because you drove there, you walked there, you longboarded there to get it done, to write the paper. So the setting of the intention of going to the coffee shop and I'm gonna write this 8-page paper about irony in Stephen Crane's writing really gives that push to do it. So in review, those 3 principles were the novelty literally increases brain activity, going to a coffee shop decreases distractions and breaks unproductive routines, and then the setting of intention and the physical action of going to the coffee shop gives you that boost, that push to do what you need to do. So let's start talking about a couple things about how we can put this all into action. Okay, so the first tip is the 3rd principle, exactly. Set an intention when you go to a coffee shop. Just have some things in mind that you want to get done, okay? The second principle, the second thing you can do, which is my favorite, and I'll say in probably every video, is turn your Wi-Fi off if you don't need it. If you're going there to write a paper, write the paper, turn the Wi-Fi off, right? If you hit a roadblock, just look up and people watch a little bit, right? That's one of the great things about a coffee shop is there's activity to observe when you get stuck to help you think. At least it helps me. Okay, the third thing is work in full screen as much as possible. Try to minimize multitasking, right? So if you're writing a paper, if you're studying, put Google Drive or Docs or Pages into one big screen. Fill your screen with the one task that you're doing. And then the final principle is kind of play a game with yourself and set yourself some small deadlines. I like to work in sometimes as small as 25 little increments, and then I'll take a little bit of a break. And I try to get stuff done in those blocks of time. And so those self-imposed deadlines are super helpful when going to a coffee shop. So I hope this video helps. If you're the kind of person who's like me and you get overwhelmed pretty easily, go ahead and check out either here, or here, the video I did on gratitude and how that can help you fight the overwhelm. And if you're also looking for something that can help you kind of consistently beat that and consistently kind of stay calm and present, check out my morning routine, either here, or there. I've never put a card in a video before, so I have no idea where it's going to pop up. But check those out. I bet you they'll be a great help to you. See you next week.